Hi, I'm Pony Horton. I've been working with whips for over 40 years, and today I'm going to teach you the two most basic whip throws, the circus crack and the overhead crack. Let's get to it. Now for the circus crack, I like to imagine a basic compass rose or protractor. You start out with the whip behind you. You throw it forward and you bring it up. You bring your arm up until you look like the Statue of Liberty. Let the whip fall down behind you. Push your arm forward and hold. The whip will follow and crack on its own. See how it hits 180 degrees? Now, as viewed from the front, if we turn the protractor on its side, it defines the plane of the whip's movement. Imagine it like a wall alongside you that you have to slide the whip along. And that's the circus crack. I'd like to say a couple of words about whip safety. A bullwhip is a supersonic device. That means that the end of this whip can travel over 700 miles an hour. If you use a whip improperly, you will hurt other people and you will hurt yourself. Remember, safety is the most important factor. Whatever you do with a whip, you and you alone are solely responsible. It is your responsibility to handle your whip safely and carefully around yourself and around others, which is why I recommend you do not use other people to hold objects for you, at least as a beginner. It's best to use devices like C-stands or uprights or other devices that can hold straws and things for you that you can bring. Here's another safety factor. Many people, when they're beginning with a whip, they don't know how to throw the whip properly. The proper throw, like that, many people will make a mistake and flail. They'll flail. They'll flail. And as you can see, that can hit you. You see? If you're not careful, it will hit you. It can come wrapping back and hit you right in the ear. Feels like it's taking your ear off. In any event, whip safety is the #1 priority when practicing with whips. But before we go any further, I'd like to take a couple of moments to introduce you to our sponsor for this video, Picard Leather Dressings. Major funding for this video was generously provided by Picard Chemical Company, and I'd like to tell you a little about their product. I've been using Picard's leather dressing and products for about 15 years now. First got turned on to Picard's by a whip maker named Joe Strain, who in my opinion was one of the best whip makers in America. He apprenticed under David Morgan, ended up later making whips for movies like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is one of his Indiana Jones whips. Here's a whip custom made for me by Jack Perry of Cowboy by Design, based on a whip used in the Ten Commandments by Vincent Price. This is a targeting whip here that was provided to me by Victor Tella, another fine whip maker. But these two whips are special. This whip here and this whip here belong to my mentor and dear friend Ken Smith. This is Ken's favorite old bullwhip, his old American Texan braided swivel-handled bullwhip that he got from a pawn shop in Helena, Montana. In fact, I'll let Ken tell you about it.
The first really good bullwhip I got was the one I bought in the pawn shop.
An old Western bullwhip, I guess. Montana, probably made sometime in the 50s. It's really a good standard issue stock bullwhip.
Ken's old swivel-handled Texan-style bullwhip. When asked how he got it, Ken will tell you.
Well, bought it out of the pawn shop in Helena, Montana. About 15 minutes after some guy hocked it for maybe $20 for it. I think it's the best whip on it.
Anyway, when it comes to these whips, I wouldn't trust them to anything other than Picard's. Picard's works as well on cowhide as it does on kangaroo. To use it is very simple. You just take a glop of it in your fingers, in your palm, and just start working it up the whip. It's just that simple. And if the whip is very dry, you can actually feel it soaking in the Picard's formula. It basically feels like Vaseline, similar to a petroleum jelly product. And it keeps moisture out of the leather. This is one thing that many other products do not do that Picard's does. It keeps the moisture out of the leather, helping your whip last longer. A whip that's well treated can last 40, 50, 60 years or more. And Picard's is a very, very effective treatment for that, especially when it comes to moisture. And as any of you know, moisture is one of the great enemies of a whip. Pay a little special attention to the fall, as that's where a great deal of the strain happens. And if you look closely at this fall, by the way, you'll see that this is an example of what is called Texan braiding. Notice, this fall is not an attached piece. It's part of the actual whip braid itself. The whip is started as a single piece right here. It's broken into 4 strands and braided backwards towards the handle end. This is called Texan braiding. Picard's leather dressing. I wouldn't trust my whips to anything else. Now, when I'm doing this overhead crack, I like to imagine I'm standing at the center of a clock face with 12 o'clock facing forward. When I bring my arm around, at 2 o'clock is where I reverse direction and the whip will follow. Notice how it hits 2 o'clock every time. Your posture and stance are very important as well. Notice as I use the whip with my right hand, my left leg is extended forward, my right leg is extended back, giving me balance and flow. With these 2 basic cracks down, the circus crack and the overhead crack, you can learn to do a wide variety of whip repertoires. You can pop objects. You can pop with friends. New friends and old friends. You can pop among the poppies. And you can have fun popping leaves off the branches of trees. Just make sure they're your trees.
Hey!
Yeah, otherwise people seem to get really pissed.
No, I'm really pissed!
In closing, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that with these techniques I've shown you, you feel confident moving forward into the hobby of whipcraft. So please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm Pony Horton. Thanks for watching.
Hey, wait a minute! Where are you going? It only hurts for a minute!